What is the most memorable encounter you have had with a stranger? I was at the animal shelter looking to adopt when I fell in love with this golden retriever mix named Buddy. He was perfect. I'd already filled out the paperwork and was waiting for approval when this family of 4 walked in. Their daughter immediately ran to Buddy's kennel. "Mommy, this is the one. This is our dog." The parents came over and the mom asked me, "Are you adopting him?" I said yes, explaining I'd been looking for months and he was exactly what I wanted. The shelter worker came over with my approval forms and said they just needed to do a final walkthrough of my living situation since I'd passed the initial screening. That's when the dad stepped forward. "Wait, hold on. We drove 3 hours to get here specifically for this dog. We called ahead." I looked confused because I'd been there for over an hour already. The shelter worker checked their system and said there was no phone reservation on file. The mom jumped in. "Our daughter's been through a lot lately and really needs this dog. We're a family. Surely that takes priority." I felt bad but said I was there first and had already started the adoption process. The paperwork was literally in the worker's hands. The shelter worker looked uncomfortable and said they needed to follow proper procedures. That's when the mom completely lost it. "You're being selfish. You're single. You don't need a dog as much as a family with children does." The little girl started crying, and the mom kept guilt-tripping me in front of other families. "This is ridiculous. One person doesn't deserve a family dog. Look what you're doing to my daughter." She pointed at her crying child like I was personally responsible for the breakdown. The dad tried a different approach. "We already told our daughter she could whatever dog she wanted. Now we have to drive home empty-handed because of you." I stood my ground and said their poor planning wasn't my problem. I'd followed all the proper steps and waited my turn. The mom started getting louder. "This is discrimination against families. Shelters should prioritize homes with children." Other families in the adoption area were now openly watching the drama unfold. Then an older woman with her teenage son spoke up. "Excuse me, but I'm a single parent and adopted my dog here last year. The volunteers know what they're doing." The entitled mom whirled around. "This doesn't concern you." The older woman didn't back down. "Actually, it does. You're making a scene and upsetting the animals." That's when a shelter volunteer overheard and walked over to see what was happening. She looked stressed from dealing with the situation. "Is there a problem here?" she asked, though the answer was obvious. The dad tried to play it cool. "We're just explaining that we're a family unit and this would be a better home environment for the dog." The volunteer looked at my paperwork, then at them. "Actually, single people often make excellent dog parents. They have more time for training and bonding." Another family nearby nodded in agreement. "We adopted as a single parent too. Dogs don't care about your relationship status." The entitled mom's face went even redder. "This is unfair. You're all ganging up on us because we want what's best for our child." Their daughter had stopped crying and was just staring at her mom's meltdown. The volunteer remained calm and professional. "Ma'am, our adoption process is first come, first served. That's our policy for fairness." The mom demanded to speak to a manager. The volunteer said she was the adoption coordinator. "This is unbelievable. We're reporting this shelter to the city," the mom shrieked. The teenage boy with his mom rolled his eyes. "Lady, you're being super weird about this." That comment seemed to switch something in the mom. She looked around and realized everyone was staring. The volunteer calmly said, "If you continue to cause a disturbance, I'll have to ask you to leave the premises." The family finally started walking toward the exit, the mom muttering loudly about how unfair everything was and how the system was broken. As they reached the door, she turned back one last time. "I hope you're happy. You ruined my daughter's day."